Yeah, I'm
cozy?
good, bro.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
coming in cozy. You feel me?
Coming in cozy. Shout out. I don't know if I should be relaxed or I don't know if I should give him the Tony Montana or if I should
Just give him what you
just give him the
do, bro.
sauce.
Just give him the justice, bro. Just give him the
Bro,
three eyes, bro.
It's gonna be the wildest interview I can already tell. Foam, you already know what's going on, man. And if you don't, let me get you hip. The best, most uniqueness, most is podcast is most DNA. I got all of that. His phone, bro. And I'm with my main man, executive producer, good friend of mine, colleague, hip hop head, good old backpacker, underground legend, all of that. Shit. I'm with my main man, Nick, aka Nick Nasty, aka CoitCampbell. Nick, yeah, what's going on, bro? How you doing?
Nothing. I'm doing good, man. Hey, bro. Thanks for having me come out here, man.
Bro, it's a
great opportunity, bro. And I really love what you've been doing with the past interviews, man. I really think you're doing something good for the community, like Dallas. Like, a lot of people appreciate you out here, man, doing your thing.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you. Now, it's not about me, bro. It's about us. It's about like just the community and just putting on the community. I feel like there's a lot of talent in Dallas. There's a lot of talent, and just like a lot of these local cities, and they deserve a lot of shine, just like yourself. So if y'all don't know this man, if y'all haven't listened to my music, then y'all probably don't know who this man is. If y'all haven't been on my Instagram, then y'all probably don't know who this man is. But this is my executive producer. Like I said, he helped me produce a lot of projects. He helped me produce 3. He'll help me produce Salmon. He helped me produce like majority of all the singles that I have in my catalog, on my DSP, all across all of the airwaves. It's this man right here, CoitCampbell. So I appreciate you for coming on, man. And so I'm really interested.
Thanks for having me, man. Thank you.
Absolutely. And I'm really gonna just kind of start off and say like, yo, I just want to learn. I know a lot about you from like where our journey starts.
Facts.
Like as soon as I met you, I kind of know like everything else from there. But kind of taking it back, man. Like you are an amazing producer, DJ, kind of rock the house. Tell me how you kind of got your start in the music realm.
Music, I'm gonna say, just like everybody, I feel like is gonna say the same thing. Is like, growing up, obviously, like your parents do a lot for you. Shout out to mom and dad. Mom was a singer when she was around 15. Dropped a full studio album out in Spain. She went on tour out in Mexico too for a little bit, but her dad died, rest in peace, grandpa.
Rest in peace.
Never got to meet him, but she had to take care of the family business that he owned, so she kind of had to quit. And my dad, when he was around, I'd say like 18, 19 or 20, his I think it was his mother-in-law owned a club out in Ecuador. He's from South America.
I got you.
So I got those Latin roots. But he would DJ for the club, just for dinner at the end. That's how it was over there. Mixing punk and mixing disco and stuff like that.
That's what's up.
So I kind of gravitated towards music. Just growing up, always in the house. Parents would love to put on songs, and we'd love to dance. Especially me. As a kid, I know my parents definitely have a bunch of embarrassing videos of me like dancing and like singing and stuff like that. So it's always kind of been present in my life. But what really pushed me kind of towards that, maybe I could actually do something is I'd say DJing. When I was around like 12 or 13, my brother, who's 5 years older than me, he was like just around being a senior. He was kind of getting, and I know that in 2013 and 2014 the EDM scene was kind of about to blow up.
Yeah.
And he started listening to podcasts like Ferry Corsten's podcast Countdown. We just he started showing me these musics, and coming from that background where I used to listen to pretty much everything. I listened to like Spanish music when I was a kid. I used to listen to like rock and Breaking Benjamin. Everybody like you know, even the softer stuff, you know, and then I really got into kind of around that year, it was like Dead Mouse and, you know, started listening to Skrillex and stuff like that. And so, you know, he started, you know, kind of expanding our music vocabulary, you know. It was just like, all right, well, what about these kind of songs that are a little bit different? They're a little bit more mellow, or they're more focused on, you know, just a different aspect. You know, they give you a different feeling. I mean, you know, if you listen to, you know, Skrillex, it's like, okay, we're ready to rage. But, you know, you listen to Corson's, you know, the stuff that he puts on is trance, and that's like, it's literally puts you in a trance. So, you know, I kind of got a little bit infatuated with that music. It was different, you know. It's something that I'd never heard, and, you know, these artists were coming up, you know, all around the world, and you know, it just, you know, getting to listen to that kind of got me thinking, like, this is really cool. You know, they make this on the computer. Like, it's not something that you got to play an instrument to do. And you know, being me, an uncoordinated kid growing up, like not playing any sports, like, well, this is kind of the best thing for me, you know. And even to DJ, I mean, that too, you don't have to make anything, you know. It's putting one song together with another. I'm really good at picking out similarities and differences and things I hear. I'm a big auditory learner, so you know, I feel like it was just like kind of clicked with me. And you know, when my dad told me, like, hey, I used to do that too, you know. But the big spark was I'd say, I don't know, I think it was around like when I was 13 or 14. So my brother went to this he went to Mad Decent Block Party. I don't know if you've ever heard of that festival, but it's like, it's one of the best, bro. Like, I still haven't gone because they canceled it like the year that I was able to go, because it was 18 up. The year that I was able to go, they stopped putting it out in Dallas, and it was only, I think, in like Philly or whatever, where Diplo's from. But like, man, my brother sent me a video of Major Lazer performing, and I was like, dude, this looks insane. I mean, you couldn't even see the screen, everything was shaking, and I was like, yo, that looks like so much energy, so much, I mean, so much power, like, you know, so much happiness, and what it is to me. I mean, you know, when you go to a show, it's like, I mean, you just feel like you're on top of the world along with everybody else. I mean, you know, everybody's there for, you know, one reason or another, but the main reason is to have fun, to have a good time. You know, either you're there to, you know, get your drink on, you're either there to do, you know, have, you know, listen to music or whatever.
For sure.
You know, so, and that's what I was, you know, and I saw that video and I was like, you know, this looks like something I would want to do. Like, I want to make people like just go absolutely ballistic. Like, that would be awesome, you know? Yeah. And I downloaded this little program. It was called Mix. Okay. MIXX. I was like, I spent like a month looking for like whatever I could use that was free, you know, virtual DJ or whatever, you know, just to do it on the mouse and keyboard, like, because I didn't have a controller or anything. And
definitely,
you know, a year went by, and, you know, 2015, and, you know, the scene's blowing up, like it's going crazy. And, you know, my brother's like, all right, well, I mean, we were both into it, but he was just like, I'm gonna buy a little Newmark Mixtrack Pro too. Like, I was like, all right, you know, we saw that. He started kind of doing his thing with, you know, with the house music, with trance music, you know, just mixing. And I would be sitting there, you know, just listening to it. And I was like, you know, I just kind of start learning. Just, man, I was watching him, like, figure it out. And I was like, you know, this is really easy, super intuitive. Let's just kind of start building that knowledge. And eventually, you know, he did his thing. You know, he played at the Mantis. I don't know if that's still a club here in Dallas.
Is the Mantis still a thing? Let me know in the comments. I've never heard of that. Sorry.
It was a really small like venue. He played there like maybe once or twice.
Got you.
You know, shout out my brother. You know, he's a big influence. You know, as well. You know, shout out the whole fam. I mean,
definitely,
there's a huge influence all around. But yeah, you know, he started doing that, and I'm just like, you know, I look up to my brother, obviously. I mean, I think anybody would, you know, as a younger brother, you know, look up to your older brother, you know.
Definitely.
They love you, you know. It's all love.
That's what's up.
So, you know, I look up to him and start, you know, I would start kind of messing with the, you know, thing when he wasn't, you know, messing with the DJ controller when he wasn't there, and you know, I started getting good, started
mixing
and
it up a little bit.
You know, I finally dropped into high school around that same time, and it was like my freshman, sophomore year, and I'm just like, yo, what if I could do this like for school? Like, you know,
or
they
get
put
paid
on
for
school
it.
dances, they put on like, you know, they put on like lunches where they've got a DJ. Why can't I
Mm-hmm.
just do it for free? You know, save the school money, right? I mean, that's
Okay.
like a win-win for everybody. You know, I get to have fun, and like
Mm-hmm.
we get to, cause you know, when you in high school and you got the DJ playing, you know, Cha-Cha Slide and Cupid Shuffle, and you're just like, all right, bro, like let's
Where's
turn
the
up a
hype?
little bit. You feel
Where's it
me?
at?
So it's just like that was kind of my thing about it, and so I finally got to do a couple of those events.
Got you, man.
And you know, I just that's where it really, you know, started. It kicked off,
Mm-hmm.
and I started kind of getting into Ableton. My dad was like, hey, you know, this is the program that, you know, those DJs that you watch use to make their music.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, here it is, you know, try it, see if you like it, you know.
Okay.
So, you know, just I started off trying to make house, and you know, around that time too is when that whole West Coast, like Must It on the Beat, was kind of coming through. So I was like, you know, listen to that on the radio, and like you hear those DJs on Friday nights, Saturday nights, and they're they're mixing it up, and you're like, you know, this is like kind of easy. Like I would listen to it, you know, this kind of easy. Like I could do that. That's easy. Like, you know, I would do that like for my school, and so, you know, so I did.
Nice.
You know,
nice.
and then, you know, that's where I started on, is those Mustard on the Beat kind of West Coast tracks that, you know, 90 BPM with, you know what I'm talking about, like that Show Me, you know, Kid Ink type stuff, like for real, like that's where I started. I mean, that's what was hot at the time. So like you know, that's what I would listen to.
Got you, man.
And you know, throughout those years of high school, I just, you know, kind of started building my sound a little bit, you know, trying to figure out what I could do and what I couldn't do, because you know, obviously with EDM, you know, the production is just it's difficult, because you know, it's all about the sound design. I mean, you know, you hear the sound design from Skrillex. I mean, his growls, his, you know, his synths. I mean, see, I get into that. I'm a brainiac with that. You know, it's just like that stuff is crazy. Like, to know synthesis and stuff, that's the key. That's
synthesis.
That's what it's all
Big
about.
words.
So, I mean, for EDM, but you know, in the rap world, it's more just kind of about the drums. Feel like it's the swing. It's like how people can move to something, you know, and that's really what putting on a show is all about. Is like, you know, making people move. Like I want you to move. Like, you know, I want you to have fun. I want to see people jumping around and, like, you know, getting sweaty and, you know, all that. That's great. Like, I love that. That's why I go to shows. Like,
definitely, bro.
You know?
So would you say that you're more like you don't like do you make music for like, yo, this is gonna be like for show? Like, do you make show music? Like,
yeah, definitely. I definitely like some tracks. Like the other day, I made like a track, and it was like I used a sample that was from a video game that I used to play when I was young. Me and my brother used to play it on PS2, and I made it, and I made this track, and it kind of sounds like an intro. It's with like this Gregorian choir, and I was just like, you know, this would be so good if I were to play it as an intro to a show, just like a DJ would at, you know, Tomorrowland, or, you know, at Lights All Night or something like that in Dallas. Shout out Lights All Night. You know,
shout out Lights All Night.
It's a great show that they put on. Yeah, we missed y'all this year, man, for sure. You know, but yeah, you know, I definitely do that. You know, sometimes it's just I'm just looking for something to groove to, something that's nice. You know, just I want people to dance. I want people to enjoy it. You know, that's what music's all about. It's about enjoyment. You know, people listen to music for entertainment. It's for enjoyment. You know.
I feel you. Now, man, I know that you're just knowing you on our own journey, like doing our music thing. Like, you're very passionate about the music, bro. Like, what's your end goal with this music stuff? Like, where do you see yourself fitting into the industry, like 5-10 years from now, something like that?
I don't know. It don't matter where I end up. I mean, in the industry, I'd do anything. I mean, I could do PR, AR, like, it don't matter to me. I didn't have to be on the music side. You know, I just want to hear what these people are coming up with and enjoy it with them, because I mean, I just enjoy listening to music as much as I do making it. But, you know, I mean, because I get chills. I mean, you know, when I hear people, you know, I even start crying sometimes, bro. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like,
I feel you, bro.
Yeah, like I'll cry. I cried yesterday, honestly, to some songs.
That's what's up.
You know, so that's really where I see myself, I guess, just somewhere in the industry, hopefully. You know, I'm not, like I said, I'm a realist, so it's just like whatever happens. I'm also, you know, super shy, so to throw myself out there is like, it's kind of difficult for me sometimes. So, you know,
I feel you, man. Yeah, well, that's one thing I know about you, bro. It's like you got like the skill, you got the talent, but it's just like you're very much to yourself. And like, bro, let's talk about that. So you kind of like, I won't call you an introvert. I'll let you self-label yourself.
Not necessarily an introvert.
But like, when it comes to like the like going outside and like showing your face and being wild on like social media and stuff, that's not really you, right?
So the thing about like social media is like, like concerts, like if I'm out at a concert, like I'll take a video of the song that I wanted to hear the most that night. So I remember that because those are the memorable moments, as I feel like a lot of people do. Gotcha. I'm not one of those guys that's sitting up there with the phone the whole time, and I'm just like, bro.
Wait, bro, you're telling me you can actually enjoy a show and
exactly,
not have your phone
right?
blocking my view?
I tell you, like nine times out of 10, most of the shows I go to, bro, I don't even have my phone out. I got my phone. I'm holding on to my phone, making sure it's not going to fall out of my pocket.
Exactly, because I'm raging so hard.
My hand?
Yeah.
I mean, I remember one time I went to Schoolboy Q and I literally dropped my phone and my shoes at the time. I wear these same type of shoes. I don't know if the camera can see it, but I wear these Vans slip-ons. I wear the slip-ons all the time. That's my favorite type of shoe. I haven't stopped wearing them since I was a teen, like since I was in high school, started high school. So it was like, you know, I had those shoes for a couple years and they were like really loose, and I'm sure that everybody has like those shoes that they're your concert shoes, right?
Yeah.
It's like, so those were my concert shoes. They were beat up, they were dirty, like I didn't care what happened to them, but I literally slipped out of them. So I literally slipped out of them, and I'm like sitting here trying to grab them and trying to grab my phone and keep everything together.
Yeah.
Right when oh God, what's that song with Kanye that he's got? I can't remember. Is the hit?
What song, bro? He's got thousands of hits.
No, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, bro. Okay.
Yeah, you know
that part.
Yeah, so that part came on.
Okay.
And I was like, and everybody was just going ballistic, and I'm sitting here looking for my shoes. I'm getting hit neat in the head, and I'm like, oh my God! But regardless, I had an amazing time.
Yeah, man.
Like it was an awesome show. Like, and I feel like that's all that really matters. I mean, you know, bad things can happen, but you know, it's fun. That's what it means to go, is just to have pure fun.
I feel you.
You know, whether your outlet is, you know, something different, you know, it's just to have fun.
I feel you, bro. You remind me a lot of someone who I also had the chance to recently interview, and you remind me a lot of Julian in the sense that you're really down with like the vibes of Texas. Like you really can vibe down with the Houston vibes. You can really get down with the Dallas vibes. When it comes to collaborating with these Dallas artists, because you yourself are located in Dallas. Shout out to the Triple D. What do you kind of look for in an artist, or do you kind of just take your chance on any artist that's willing to work? Like how does it kind of look like to work with you?
I mean, we can start off by telling the story about you and me, because okay, so you know, just me being me, I was, you know, talking to a boy out at the university, you know, UTD, you know, shout out UTD. And you know, my boy was a part of the frat, and I guess, you know, this guy was one of the big leaders, and I was like, all right,
I brought the culture to the frat.
Well, they were having a birthday party or whatever, so we pulled up. I pulled up. I got invited, and I was like, I got a free pass. I don't know how.
I don't know how you showed up.
Yeah, I know you probably did. You're probably like, this guy didn't pay, like, and I did
something like that.
Pay, you know,
bro, who do you know here, bro? No, I wasn't one of them.
But no. But so the guy who was also rushing that frat had the other pledge, you know, it was his birthday, so they were having a birthday party for him, and you know, he was like, hey, you should come along with you know, another couple friends that we had from high school, because he was going to the university and I wasn't. You know, I was gonna go to, you know, I was going to UH at the time, but I think I was on break or something, or I think it was just a weekend that I was there, but we went to this party, and I see this guy, and he's running the beer pong table. This guy did not leave the table. Like, he was on the same side, like, and that's how you know that he's running table, because he's not moving. So he's just sitting there. He's got a bottle of wine, and I'm like, bro, this guy looks like he does music. And I pull over to my friend, and I'm like, hey, who does music over here? He points to that guy, and I'm like, oh, well, okay. So I'm like, hey, what's up? And he's like, hey, what's good? I'm like, hey, I heard you do music. And he goes, yeah. And then
we instantly get to talking, exchanging numbers. Like, it was automatic.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm a producer. He's like, oh, I'm a rapper. I'm like, oh, perfect. I'm like, here's my number. And he's like, all right, I'll call you. And then I don't remember the rest of the night. I'm gonna be honest.
It was a lit night.
I don't remember that night.
Shout out to the boys. But yeah. So like, okay, I just wanted to make sure that I got the story right. So you are very open to just collaborating as long as like the vibe is there, as long as the connection there, because your emotional intelligence, like mine, is very high, and so like you can tell like when the vibes are off. And bro, Joe Budden, shout out to Joe Budden and Joe Budden podcast, but I remember Joe Budden said, like, yo, if the vibe, like, we go off vibes, like creators go off vibes, like business people go off analytics and data and stats, and creatives go off vibes. And if it's not vibing, then I'm sorry, no matter how cool you are, no matter how much clout you have, we probably won't be able to work.
No, yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, the thing about with you, it was like, I mean, it was so easy to just, you were giving me your number. And honestly, that's the easiest part. The easiest part is like when you reach out to a creative and you're like, hey, I want to do something, and they're like, okay, bet. The hard part is the day after.
The follow-up.
Now, see, that's the problem that I have is like, see, I'll hit you up. I'll send you 5 beats, or I'll send you what you need, bro. And, you won't hit me up for 2-3 months. And I'm like, okay, well, it seems like I kind of get the message. Like, that's cool, man. You might be busy, though. I mean, like I said, I can't speak for everybody. And like, yeah, you might be busy. You might be doing your own thing. You might have blown up. Like, I don't know. But, with you, it was like, the next day literally was like, hey, here's some of tracks that I've posted on SoundCloud. Like, here's what I need. Like, I don't know how to mix. And I'm like, okay, well, you can come. Like, your recording's not that good. And, we were just real honest with each other from the start.
Yes, sir.
So for me, like I said, I'm willing to work with anybody as long as you're willing to give me something in return. I'm not just going to send you, and not to say that I wouldn't do free work, because I don't care.
I think as creatives, you have to do free work.
Yeah,
there are times you just like, have to
you just kind of gotta. I mean, for me, I'm still starting out even now after 8 years. Still like, you just got to do free work. And I don't care to send you a beat, but if I send you my works and you're not gonna do anything with them, well, then it's kind of let them sit. Kind of scary for me, because I don't know what you're gonna do with that. I mean, you could just take it and release it and not tell me about it. And because I've had some stuff happen to me where I send somebody a track, met somebody at Green Elephant, send them a track, and they post it up and they don't even put my name on it, and I'm like, come on,
bro,
dude.
yeah. Like, can we talk about that for just like a quick second, bro? I hate. Okay, time to get serious. Bro, if you're gonna collaborate with somebody else and they put their blood, sweat, and tears into like whatever you're doing, it doesn't even have to be music, bro. We could do choreography. You could be writing a book or whatever, bro.
Facts, yeah.
Put their name on it, bro. Like, that is just, it's good business. It's just the right thing to do as well.
Yeah, it's just the work.
And I know, and I feel like producers, like, y'all don't get the shine that y'all deserve. A lot of the times the beat makes the song. The hook, it's like the chorus or like the melody or something. And just because some dude with a nice voice sounds good and then like comes together, they think, oh, he made this song. But bro, it's the engineer's slaving away. He crafted the beat, and then not only that, he's doing the engineering, post-production, he's doing all of that. So if you don't put their name on it, bro, that is the ultimate disrespect. As a creative, I probably won't fuck with you.
Yeah, that's
part of my language.
Like I said, I've had issues, but not with you, but with other people, and and it really is just that second, that follow-up is like, they don't get back to me, and I'll poke you if I really like you, and if I really like your style, I'll be like, hey man, like, you sounded really good, like, yo, did you happen to get a chance to look at those? They'll be like, oh, I'll get it later. I've even had times where like I've given somebody a track and they've made it, and they'll post it on SoundCloud, and they'll give me credit, and then months will go by and they'll take it down, and I'm like, well, I mean, you could tell me, maybe I could put it on mine. Like, if I'd understand, like, I know SoundCloud and like the pro versus the free version, like, some people don't have a whole lot of time on there because they post a bunch of music or whatever. And so, like, I understand, like, if you're using all your space and like you need some space, yeah, that's cool. But I mean,
let me know,
I feel like,
bro.
the professional thing to do is I'd say, like, hey man, this doesn't fit on my catalog anymore. Do you mind if, like, maybe I send it to you and, like,
archive it?
Obviously I still have the song.
Yeah.
I literally still have the song, but I'm not gonna post it without his permission, obviously.
Yeah.
And even at the end of the day, year went by and I messaged him again and I was like, hey, do you remember this? And he goes, oh yeah, I do. And then I'm like, okay, great. Well, do you want to work again? And he was like, for sure. I didn't come at him and was like, hey, you took the track down earlier when you dropped it. Yeah. I didn't say any of that because I don't care. But I sent him beats again. You think he responded to me?
Probably not.
Nah. See, and so that's just like, that's the other thing with creatives, bro, is like, just be honest with each other. Because, like, look, if you don't got it or if I don't got it, I don't really mind. Just tell me. Or if say, hey, man, you don't fit my style. I've talked to plenty of artists. Noelle, like,
shout out to Noelle,
like,
bro. Yeah.
We had a song with her, but I tried to work with her on the side, and I sent her beats, and she said that she had an engineer ready for it, and I was like, okay, great. Well, here it is.
Facts.
Here's the stems. Did I hear from her again? No. I mean, and it's like, well, I'm not gonna poke you because, at the same time, I'm trying to be respectful, because respect your time. Like, I don't know what she's got going on. Maybe she just lost her job, or maybe she doesn't even make music anymore. I mean, sometimes it happens,
Yeah, definitely.
But, aside from all that, with all the issues, it's always good to work with somebody. I feel like that's the most important part about being a creative, is working with other people, because I mean, nobody does anything alone. I mean, you can look at all these big artists nowadays, and none of them did it alone. I mean,
there's always a camp. There's always a team behind you. You might see that one main figure, but trust that there's at least 10 people behind them. They got a whole team, and they on payroll. I mean,
just like, even, and with the producer rapper combo, that's one of the biggest ones. Like, those are the ones that blow up. I mean, the one that comes to mind for me is like Lil Mosey and Royce. I don't know what his producer name is, but that's his friend from like childhood. Like they came up at, like, I don't know, they were like 16, 15 or whatever. Yeah. But they were friends from childhood. Like, that's his boy. So it's like, that's important, to have somebody that's been there with you since the beginning, that's got your back, that somebody holds you accountable, because, at the end of the day, like we said, you can't do it on your own. I mean,
and bro, there are gonna be days where, like, I mean, we had our little tit for tats, like a little, like, I came to the studio a little moody, or like you like had a day or whatever, and like, bro, it's okay. Not saying like every day's gonna be a great day, everything's gonna be sunshine and rainbows, but you can still work it out, and then like talk it out, say, hey bro, like, I apologize I took that out on you. I don't know, I just really not feeling like I want to be in the studio today because of XYZ. You can't
bet on everybody having the vibe every day.
Bro, we're humans.
People change every day.
We're humans.
Like I said, people change every day. I change every day.
Yeah, I feel you.
And it's just human. It's just a human nature. So
definitely, bro.
You kind of gotta live with it.
So kind of like on that, like, can you tell me some of your craziest, like, because I don't think I know like all of like the people that you've worked with, so like, can you tell me like a story or like a time where y'all were in the studio and y'all were in your creative zone? You don't have to name names, but can you say a time where like things kind of
I mean, I'll say that notable artists that when I get together, it's like, I mean, he's like this is the kind of guy that, like, we're in the studio together, and he's shooting videos of me just acting like a buffoon, like we're troll. I mean, I'm a troll. Like, I feel I take it from Julian. Like, I'm a troll too, bro. Like, I feel that. Like, I love to mess with people just to see you get a reaction out of you and just laugh about it.
And shout out Julian, bro. We love you, dog.
Like, I love to see that, because then I get to see that smile on your face. It's like, that's that positive energy. That's what I'm really looking for. But the guy I'm talking about is Mike Frenchie. Shout out Mike Frenchie.
We were talking about you off camera, bro.
Frisco,
we love you, dog.
Frisco gang. you know him. I met him. This is the weirdest thing. I was working at Chili's as a to go, and I see this guy, and he's got like this curly, poofy hair. He's got the earrings. He's got the nose piercing, and like he really looked like he was a rapper. Like, and I'd see him come on off days to eat, and like the way that he dressed, like you can just kind of tell, like when you wearing something, like if you wearing black jeans and you're wearing like, I don't know, like a cool, like dope graphic T-shirt, I could just, you can just see it. Like, yeah, you're a rapper.
A classic
and, you know,
rock
I went up to him one day. You know, I overheard him talking about like going to Cali and like being in California.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was like, hey man, I heard that you like lived in California for a little while. I was like, is there any chance that you like know anybody out there that makes music? And he was like, actually, I'm a rapper. I was like,
I knew it.
I was like, yo, I was like, hey, so, you know, listen to this. You know, see, that's how quick I am. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm ready. You know, it's like, I love your so process too, bro. Until that moment that you give me a little bit, and I'm just, oh yeah, bet. All right. It's like, if you go, I was like, oh yeah, I'm grabbing, I'm taking it.
We talked about it off camera, but you were saying like how the 3 album is like your favorite because it was so organic in the way it happened. I mean, like when we first got together, like we dropped it and it was fun. Come over and you just mess around. Like, I feel like that's the best way to make music. I mean, another like group that comes to mind is like, you know, Tokyo's Revenge. Like, everybody behind him it's literally him and like everybody that lives in this one apartment. It's like they all live together, and it's like he's just like, wait, hold up, bro. And that's one thing that I really enjoyed about like just like going over to the crib is that you would literally like on any given day your brother would be in the studio, or just like one of your random high school homies, and then like their energies, I would feed off their energies, we would feed off their energies, just as like a collective, and then just things would happen, and
like it's just you'd come awesome through, and it was a different story every day. Like my brother was playing games, or like I was like sitting in the studio playing a game waiting for you to write, like sitting on, you know, Call of Duty or whatever. It was just, and that's what I'm saying. It's like those kind of moments, if you've got that kind of connection with somebody, especially if you're a creative, you don't want to let that go.
Definitely.
Like, you know, also like Entropy, like the same thing. Like, you know,
shout out Entropy, bro.
Like when we get in, like us three, it's just goon. Like we're just like relaxed. Like nobody, like we throwing shade. We just having a good time. Like, you know,
we on Twitter cracking jokes, all that.
Yeah, on Twitter, like, hey, look at this thing on Instagram, and we're laughing or whatever, and you know, that brings that energy like out of you, and like it allows you. I feel like it allows you to kind of, you know, work, because it's like you feel so comfortable. Because I know a lot of times, you know, that I've been in the studio. I mean, you know, one time, I don't think you were there, but we went with Noel and Mike Frenchie.
For sure.
We went over to the music box out in Denton, and I was just like stiff as a brick, like, you know, and I was like, you know, because it was like this is the second time I ever been to a studio. And so I was stiff as a brick. Yeah. And like the moment that Mike Frenchie was kind of like getting litty on what they were showing us, and like we were kind of like vibing a little bit, and he was, and you know, then you kind of start building that energy.
Bro, yeah.
It only takes one person for me to kind of go from that shy kid to be like, you know, that cool, calm, relaxed, collected person. You know, and I feel like that's really important. You know, and you know, shout out Mike Frenchie. Like I said, you know, him, you know, we work, you know, and he's introduced me to a bunch of other people, like notable names. I mean, from you, it's been Lil Texan, from, you know, and obviously Danny from, you know, Luna, and
Julian,
you know, he's introduced
Julian,
me
bro.
to Tut Tarantino and Trap Joe, and you know, it's nice to meet some of those people. The vibe wasn't right, you know, that was definitely one of the times that I felt like I was really in it, and I had that energy, and I was cooking, and I was literally making, and I love doing this to people, as I love having somebody come into the studio, and I'll be like, hey, I'm just gonna make the beat right now.
Which is the best. I love those live sessions. I love those live sessions.
I love doing it to people, because I feel like it brings even that more organic sense out of you. It's like you didn't listen to anything that, you know, I might have sent you a couple beats, but you know, whatever you thought about those, this is going to be something different. So it's like, it's something fresh on your mind, you know? it's always nice. You know, and I feel like even with the other talk shows that, you know, they do this, is like when you have that, you know, like Sway in the Morning freestyle.
Yeah.
Some of those sound real good. You know, some of those sound real nice because they didn't come in prepared. It's just right off the top. You know, a lot of people like that, you know? I mean, even in a live show, if you hear somebody freestyling, I mean, it's the coolest thing, you know? You're just like, wow, like, you know, or
that's,
you know, somebody making a live song, like that's insane, you know?
Got you.
So I think, you know, that's kind of how I feel about that.
Nah, dude, yeah, and one thing I do miss is that we were talking about energies before, is that Dallas definitely has its own energy, and I want to call out one in specific. Like we talked about, like you called out the Green Elephant. Shout out the Green Elephant.
Yeah.
And shout out Reese. I know the Reese he used to run the Green Elephant, or he still might. You still might, bro. I don't know. Shout out to you, bro. But yeah, dude, I just remember like when we went to the Green Elephant, we were just like watching all these different independent artists just kind of like do their thing. It's very apparent that everyone is so different, everyone is so diverse, and there's so much talent that can be found within Dallas, just like within like a couple of miles, a couple of tens of minutes, like just a couple 10-minute drive or whatever. You got like all kinds of crazy talent. And so who, like, when we look at the Dallas scene, if you could kind of collaborate with anybody in the Dallas scene or in general, who do you think that would be for you?
I mean, right now, I mean, like, it would definitely be some artists that I, like, obviously look up to. I mean, we've done something with Texan, but I'd love to work with him again. I love the vibe. He came through and we had a good time. I remember that was fun.
He did, yeah.
You know, and, you know, somebody else, I'd say probably Beats by Jeff.
For sure.
He's a producer out in Dallas. I know he's from the Dallas area, but I think he's working with Rich the Kid now. I mean, that's one of my big role models. I think,
nice,
you know, I take a lot from him, you know, because obviously he's from where I'm from. So it's like, and he made it. So it's just like,
bro, if he
when
can
you
do
see
it,
somebody,
we can do
it's like, if he can do it, you know, as a producer, yeah, man, like definitely. He's, you know, that's cool. I would love to see him, you know. Other than that, I mean, probably Danny.
For sure.
You know, I definitely love his stuff. I love the stuff that he does. Definitely, I think he's clean with it. Like, you know, shout out him, bro.
Yeah,
like,
Breathe is my
really,
shit.
Really like.
Check out Breathe if y'all haven't listened to that. Bro, so I kind of like focus on you for a quick second. So I'm gonna switch gears.
All right.
And so like, for y'all that don't know, he'll sing, he does little melodic stuff, he does like the vocals and put it on the track, but he doesn't release it.
Yeah,
he raps, he won't release it. He does all this great stuff, and I'm like, bro, this is fire. the only time it'll get released is if I rap on it and then we release it.
Yeah.
So, bro, can we talk about that? Like can we talk about like just like how you see your music? Is it like therapeutic for you? Do you just like kind of getting it out there?
That's like the other thing to me is like, I mean, the other thing to me and why I'm so like, look, if I'm going to send you something and you're not going to, you know, reply to me or whatever, like I'm done with you. And I'm so quick to do that. And I'm so quick to just not worry about people is because, you know, everything that I make kind of has like that spiritual connection to me. Cause it's like, you know, like we said, you know, you might do your creative outlet in a different sense every day, with a different vibe. You might have a different, you know, attitude. And for me, I feel like most of the time when I get in the studio, it's like however I'm feeling that day, I take that and I just throw it out. It's like, it's almost like Ableton, like the DAW is my canvas and I just like throw my emotion at it. And so like for me, since it's special to me, it's like I want to see, you know, I want to see it full. I want to see it be the best that it can be. And so for me, it's like I'm scared, you know, because I've only released music ever with you. And so the thing is like I've really been racking my brain and just keep telling myself like, dude, you've got it. And if you just do it, you'll start getting better because you'll start getting like kind of an opinion. You know, people will start to give you that feedback, and you know that helps you too. Constructive criticism is great, especially for creative. I mean, you know, so you know that's the thing that I feel like I'm probably missing, and so that's why I'm so hard on myself is because I've never gotten that feedback. You know, I'll send my track to one of my homies from high school and be like, hey, what do you think? He'll be like, dude, you need to drop it. I'll send it to my cousin. He'll be like, where is this on SoundCloud? And I'm just like, I don't know, because I've always just been like that, and because I really strive. I want to be the best, at whatever I do, whether it be like even playing like video games or like even just like school or
Definitely,
like anything.
bro.
Like, I mean, growing up, I guess that was like a really apparent value in my house is like, if you're gonna do something, you got to be like awesome at it. Like, yeah, just like you got to be great. And so like, I guess for me is like I'm so hard on myself because like I really want to be great. Yeah. So, I think that's kind of why I don't drop anything that I do solo. And the other thing is like, I'm so bad at writing the second verse. Like, I'm so bad. Like, and I know like I'm so bad at like
That's really
I'm a hook
funny.
master. Like,
yes, sir.
I could write hooks for days. Like,
and
that's easy.
I hate writing hooks, and so
I feel like that's why we work together really well. Because like
I'm like bars. I just want bars.
Exactly. Like you're just a machine, and I'm out here like very melodic. And the other thing is like I really emphasize like being catchy. Is like I feel like that's a big part of music because like my main idea when I make a song is like, I want it to get in your head. Like I want you to be like singing my song like after you hear it, or if you heard it you're like, wait, that song went like this, like and you're just like you kind of remember the melody, because I feel like a lot of these hits songs nowadays, I mean they're so catchy. I mean you listen to them one time and then the next day you're like sitting there and you're like singing in your head, what was that song? And then you go and you look it up, and then that's one of the songs you put on your playlist, right? So it's just like that's kind of what I feel like that's a really good thing to do. I mean, I'm gonna make it memorable for you as much as it is for me, so
that's what's up. And now like bro, speaking of music, right, I took a look back at all the unreleased songs that we have. I took a look back at like just like some of the SoundCloud stuff, some like the Spotify stuff, and bro, I'll say like the music that we create is very like it's different, but it's like very like the same. And I don't know how to like describe like what I'm saying, but like my mom kind of like summed it up perfectly. I remember I was showing her like a bunch of my music and stuff, which is very scary. And mom, shout out to you, but I was showing her a bunch of the music, and she was like, just like all these songs, like they're so different and they sound good, but like they kind of sound the same, and like I kind of like it, and like it ties them together. And I was like, what do you mean by that? And so like that kind of got me thinking when you were talking about like, it's like a piece of my soul in there. It's like it's my DNA.
Like that's what it is. It's like I wanna throw a piece of myself into that song. I mean, especially in what I write too. When I write on a track, it's how I'm feeling that day, or it's about a past experience. Just like Julian said, I think it's music is really about your past experiences. And I think that's what hits people the most, because the world is such a small place, and the fact that you might know somebody in a different state or in a different country that you've known since you were a kid and you just didn't know it, or in a sense that like everybody kind of feels the same way about certain things sometimes, so I feel like it's really easy to connect with people through music. I mean, for me at least, I know a lot of people might be a good talker or might be a really funny guy or whatever, but for me it's like, if you tell me like, oh, I listen to this person and this person, I'm just like, oh, since I try to listen to everything, and even like from like Spanish music to rock music to rap, like obviously I'm a hip hop head, but like even in those senses, I'm like, I'll even try to find you some rap that sounds like rock. Like I got a friend that listens to like Disturbed and Breaking Benjamin and Slipknot, and I'm like, I sent him some Mario Judah. I was like, listen to this guy, and he was like, yo,
shout out to Mario Judah.
Yo, shout out Mario Judah.
Shout out to you, bro.
No, for real. Like, no, but I mean, for real, like he literally, and like if you listen to his interviews, he's like, yo, I want kids to like that are growing up nowadays to listen to my music and be like, where did he get that style from? And listen to those 5 Finger Death Punch, listen to that Breaking Benjamin, and like that's awesome, because then it's like it's an even easier way for me to connect with you, that there's something that kind of fuses our two interests together, so like I said, that's the way I connect, I mean, definitely. I'll even ask you, like, I remember, I think even when we were first talking, I asked you like, who you on, like, who do you like? With Mike Frenchie, I did the same thing. Like, let me listen to the music that you listen to, so I can kind of get an idea of what you like. I still do it with Mike Frenchie. Like, I saw him the other day, and we were like in the car driving, and I was like, play me what you've been on, and he played me what he'd been on. I was like, okay. So I kind of
switched up a little bit.
Kind of want to see like what you've been on, because
get an update.
I mean, I'm not gonna listen to everything. I'm not gonna listen.
I mean, there's not enough time in the day.
Yeah, just like I mean, I put music on, and sometimes I don't even listen. I don't even try to look for new music every day. It's more like sometimes I'm just listening to the stuff I like. So, with that being said, of course I'm not going to hear everything, even with you. I mean, even with anybody, I don't know what you're listening to. So for me to get kind of to get a feeling of what you're listening to and put it into my mindset, it makes it all that much easier to kind of connect with you because, I don't know. I feel like your music taste kind of says a lot about you.
I agree. Yeah. And I'll say, like, the way, like, just looking at my music, just looking at how it's grown throughout the years.
Yeah,
I'm like, I know I've had, like, about, like, 3 or 4 different producers, but, like, you as, like, my executive producer since then, it's been, like, a steady, like, just increase in production value and, like, all that stuff. And so, like, when we think about your experiences, like you say, like, like, music is, like, we create music from our past experiences. What type of past experiences do you pull from to create your music?
I mean, I just anything from, what I do every day on like a daily basis. I mean, sometimes, especially in like the, this pandemic, one song I wrote about staying home and just doing nothing because that's what I've been doing. I mean, it's from as simple as that to as deep as like, I've had an extensive medical history. So like, talk about like the issues that I've had, the pain that I felt, throughout all these, I've had like 4 or 5, open heart surgeries. So it's like, something like that, even from there to, maybe a relationship that I ended with somebody, whether it be a girl or just a close friend, girlfriend or close friend or whatever, it's the same thing. It's just like anything. I mean, because you never know what somebody else might relate to. So you never know what you might relate to in that sense. Is like you might relate to, maybe somebody is bored at home. I mean, like I said,
and I'm bored in the house. And
that's
I'm
what
in
I was
the
about
house
to say. There's even a song where it's like bored in the house, and like people like that song not only because it's catchy, but like because sometimes you are bored in the house. Yeah, just
bored in the house. You want something to do.
Sometimes you are bored in the house, and like that might kind of like lighten up your day a little bit or something. I don't know. Definitely, so I feel like inspiration can come from anything.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes, I'll, most of like my inspiration I feel like comes from like the entertainment that I consume.
Yep.
Other people's music. I mean, obviously, like I'll name again, shout out Beat by Jeff, like. A lot of my beats, like, I listen to how he does it, and it's just because I love that. Because, I mean, for him, his beats, like, when you hear his shit, it's like, you really want to, like, go crazy, go wild, and that's me. Like, when I, like I said, I go to the show and I lose my shoes. Like, I love that stuff, bro. Like,
I love it.
I love that. So, that, or, I watch, like, TV shows, like, like Gotham, and I'll, like, hear, like, the background music, and I'll be like, that's really cool, and I'll go and listen to the soundtrack, and I'll be like, yo, this is cool, I'll sample it or whatever. I mean, okay. And that's kind of the other reason that I don't really release a lot of stuff is because I'd be sampling like anime, and I'll be sampling
this
like,
man Kanye out here in the
like
in the studio.
I mean, just to kind of like, because it's like I want people to hear something that they never heard before. Like, I don't know if, like, like I said, like, I don't know if you've watched this show. I don't know if you've heard this song, but, you might like it,
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
or you might hear my song, and just like Mario Judah said, you'll be like, I like that style. What is that? What's that sample? I mean, I still do it with songs. Like, I'll look, if I find a song as a sample, I'll look on the internet, what sample is that? And I'll be like, oh, that's pretty cool. That song is really cool,
Definitely.
It's just, I think that's part of music is like, kind of part of art too, is like, where did that come from? Even for artists, like somebody like yourself, like, I'm sure, I mean, I'm not like well versed in the art world or anything, but I'm sure that you'll take, inspiration from, Van Gogh, or you'll take inspiration from, Monet or something like that.
For sure.
Like, and that's what it is. It's you're building off of what other people have already done, and that's kind of how the community also stays really close together. Is
Absolutely,
that everybody
bro.
kind of like, especially in Dallas here, like, I know that everybody kind of likes to. We all like to be real similar, and You know, we all kind of got our tastes.
But somehow we all be doing our own things.
But everybody's different in their own way too. And that's the thing, is like, I can take that inspiration from you and make it into my own thing.
Yep.
And that's what I love that. I think that's so awesome that, you know, you can pull from somebody's, you know, brain or from their creative and make something out of it into and that reflects yourself.
Absolutely.
You know, and I think that's really important.
Yeah, and that's just how the music just keeps going, and we get all different kinds of genres and rap and stuff, and like different influences. I love, like you talked about, like even getting like a lot of the Latinx like influence, or like a lot of the dance hall influence, like all different types of genres are welcomed in like hip hop and stuff. And it's like, when you hear that, you're like, oh, you can do this, and like turn the tempo up, turn it down.
This is awesome. I mean, like you know, Erica Banks, like just went viral. Like, she's from here. Like, I literally, you know, it was the crazy part.
Shout out to Erica Banks.
Shout out Erica Banks. But the crazy part is that I was driving back to my apartment one day, and I saw her poster for the album she released before she released the single.
Oh, wow.
I saw a poster for her album, and even my homie, or no, it was my cousin. My cousin sent me a picture of like her album or something, and was like, yo, is this your girl? And I was like, I don't know. And I was like, I looked her up, and I was like, oh, this girl's from Dallas. I was like, that's so cool. I didn't know like people still made like posters and stuff. Like, that's awesome. You know, obviously I looked her up because, like, you know, you don't see that kind of stuff on like a traffic pole or anything anymore. Like, people just be putting, I mean, especially like out on the highways and like intersections where highways are. Yeah. That's where I saw her poster. Like, really, you know, somewhere where like people wouldn't really be walking too. It's like, I mean, but that's crazy. And to see that she came up right after that off of Nelly's Hot in Here, I mean, you know, she turned that, you know, that was like a really groovy kind of funky song. She turned it into like a real nice twerk song, real nice, you know, drop it down low, whatever kind of song. Like, that's pretty cool. Like, that's what I'm talking about, is like people can take that inspiration from anywhere. And that's awesome.
So what you're telling me is that as creatives and as creators ourselves, we need other artists, like and creatives. It's not just us. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because you're building it as a whole. Like, you don't like you know, like some people will say, I know some artists will say like, oh, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Lil Wayne. Facts. Or I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Kanye. You know, so it's like, that's what it is. It's like the fact that they make their music, you know, based on that, it only grows the catalog.
I feel you.
And that's what it is.
Nah, dude. Yeah, I'll say for myself, like, I wouldn't be here without Childish Gambino. I wouldn't be here without Jay-Z, Lil Wayne. I wouldn't be here without the entire golf wing. Like, there's a lot of influences, and like you do have to pay homage. Like, we realize, like, yo, you can be a one of one. You can be like super original, but there's someone's already kind of done what you've done, not maybe in your way, in your type of sauce, in your type of lens, from your perspective, whatever you want to say. But it's like, we all have to acknowledge that there are people been before us. Like, majority of all the people that have ever lived ever in the history of ever are all in the past, so we have to like recognize that. Like, so they might have done something, and then it's just paying homage. Like, you know, Biggie's and Tupac's, like, they did a lot, and a lot of people do.
Exactly. I mean, they opened it up for everybody else. And so, like, you know, the thing that I've heard criticism about this is that, like, you know, oh, well, you're just a copycat, or like, oh, you're just a clone, you know, or
what's the difference between like paying homage and like being influenced by, and then like being a clone or straight up ripping someone's style? Like, I feel like a lot of people like kind of mix the two, because a lot of people say like, yo, Drake he's a copycat, he's whatever, culture vulture, blah blah blah. But can we talk about that for a second? I mean, like what are your definitions?
Look, I mean, in his sense, and honestly, no hate on him. Honestly, like, yo, Drake's a good artist. I mean, there's no problem with him, you know. And I feel like even that is a skill in itself, to be able to kind of get into somebody else's mindset and kind of immerse yourself in their style and make something. That's a talent in it of itself. Like, come on, like, I mean, Drake, that's like a pretty smart thing to do. Like, you see somebody coming up off of, I don't know, like the dance hall, you know, and you start kind of doing that whole style or whatever, you know, that's talent. I mean,
I feel you.
you know, to be able to do something like that, to be able to copycat somebody is not, to be influenced by somebody is not necessarily bad. But if you're sitting there and you're making the exact same song that they did, or you know, you made the exact same beat, okay, well, let's take it back a bit, you know.
I feel you.
I mean, a lot of people would say, you know, that I don't know what that Drake song. I think it's called KMT, where they say he stole X's flow, and I'm just like,
rest in peace,
okay,
XXX.
rest in peace, yeah, rip X. I mean, for real, but you know, like everybody's saying, oh, he stole his flow or whatever, but I mean, it's not really the same song. To be quite honest with you, that song is a lot more tame than X's. What's that song?
I forgot. So they're gonna be screaming at us.
Yeah, people are gonna be mad because I can't even remember.
I keep thinking, look at me.
Yeah, it's look at me.
Yeah,
it's look at me. Yeah, it's like, you know, it's like if you listen to them back to back, like that song is not nearly as hard as X's song.
I feel you.
And the other thing is, like, it's not nearly as memorable too, and it doesn't even sound like him. It's just the way that he puts the words together in the rhythm that sounds similar. And to be quite honest with you, there's not enough flows to go around in the world. Like if you think that somebody's only got one certain flow, that's baloney, man.
I feel
because like, you know, there's only so much that you can create that's gonna be original.
Yeah.
Like at some point you're not gonna be able to do that anymore.
I feel you, bro.
Like,
no,
you know,
yeah.
And then it'll just go back to the beginning. You know, people will start going back to, like, you know, doing the old school stuff. Like,
Facts.
I feel like at one point, you know, people are gonna start doing, and they already have too. People still do tracks like Biggie, still do tracks like Tupac,
Facts.
still do tracks like Outkast. You know, it's like, that's okay, because that's what music is. It's just a cycle. It's a cycle of, you know, people making something and then getting influenced by it and then making something again, and then they get influenced by those people and they just come back to it. And
it's natural and organic. There's nothing wrong with it, y'all.
There's nothing wrong with it.
But that being said, is Drake a culture vulture? Let me know in the comments below, bro. I need crucial.
That's what I'm saying.
Is he a culture vulture? We don't know. We need to get to the bottom of this ASAP. That's really funny.
Yeah, that's got to be a whole separate video. Big debate.
A whole
big debate.
Yeah,
you gotta have like 5 people in here
just screaming in the mic. That will be a whole debate. Yeah, bro. I forgot what I was about to say, but it's all good. So when we look kind of like at the state of hip hop right now, like we see, like, to me, bro, it seems like there's a lull, like in music when it comes. I feel like there's a lull in the state of hip hop right now. Like I feel like there's not a lot of a lull. Yeah, what is it?
What does that
spell
mean?
lull.
What does
spell
that
lull.
mean? Like LOL? Like you laughing at it right now?
Nah, like in the sense of, like, there's not a lot of music coming out, or if there is music, it's very sparse music. Like, we know no one's gonna be dropping around Drake. No one's gonna be dropping when Scary Hours is dropping. We understand that, but where is everybody, bro? Like, it feels like no one's really dropping music, and it's just singles here and there when it comes to, like, the big players. Now,
I mean,
it might just be me, but I feel like there's, like, really, like, not a lot of good music. Like, I feel like Corona kind of killed, like, the music. It's not getting produced like it is. Tell me about that.
I mean, the other portion about it is, like, you have to understand that, like you got to think about, like, somebody like Cardi, and everybody bashed his album or whatever because y'all wanted it. Well, y'all want it, and it's just like, you know, you think, you know, like, just like you're saying, not a lot of the bigs are dropping right now. Well, if y'all want it, he'll drop it, but I mean, then you're gonna shit on it? Like, come on now. Like, you anticipated this album for so long, and then it kind of let you down. But I read one comment on a post on Instagram. I think it was from, like, World Star. It was like on the .tv. Shout out those news outlets.
Shout out World Star.
You know, and somebody, I can't remember who said this comment. I'm sure that if they ever see this video, they'll be like, it was me.
Yeah.
And they said, yo, I felt like Cardi really dropped this album on some festival type shit, like some of that feeling. Like, and if you listen to some of the songs, like, man, if I heard New Tank live,
jeez,
man,
bro,
I go ballistic, because it's like, I'm gonna like, yo, he like, you know, you can hear it. And, like, a lot of people say it was forced or whatever, and, like, some of the songs were just not him, but it's like, I mean, y'all, you know, pressured him to drop, so that's what y'all got. But if he were to drop with a tour alongside it, I guarantee you he would have sold out on tour. Because who doesn't want to go see Playboi Carti
just get
live?
turned.
You know, and that's what I kind of feel like a lot of artists are kind of like scared to drop right now, because you know, the other thing is like,
should they be scared, bro? It's a pandemic out here. I mean, should they try to turn the pandemic into the bandemic and like flip it and get them all on the DSPs?
I'd say now, getting closer to summer, you know, it's getting better. And I mean, I think I saw an ad for Life in Color in Las Vegas. Like they're gonna do that, and I think it happens in August, I think. So like places are gonna start opening up. Like we're gonna have live music again. Like. And that's what really, like, I feel like a lot of artists, you know, like Julian said, like a lot of artists, their goal is to go out and perform. Like they love, because I mean, one, it's the energy, the vibe, how much fun you have, and then two, it's like, I mean, it's a lot of revenue for them too. Like it's a really good deal, you know, and it also boosts your publicity. If people know you put on a good show, they're gonna listen to you.
I've been shocked at some of the. I won't name any names, but there have been some A-list rappers that like I think that they're really good, but then like I'll hear them in concert and then I'm just like,
yeah, but you still
I'll just listen to you at home.
Before, right? Like,
yeah.
You know, I mean, I'll give like a really good example is like Black Bear when he was coming up. Like I know he had done music in the past.
Shout out Black Bear.
He's also one of my big like role models, like especially for the artistry standpoint, like the way he sings and stuff like that. He's got his real own style. Like I really liked how he mixes like the West Coast vibe with like his own kind of singing, like comes from that punk rock like kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I saw him alongside Kyle when they toured on Happy Camper.
Yep.
And like me and my friend that went were like, who is this guy? Like we've never heard of him before. You know, like where's Drake? We were trolling. We were like, where's Drake? But let me tell you, this guy came on and he played Dirty Laundry and we both got our phones out. Like it was that good. Like, so it's like, that's what I'm saying is like some of these artists are scared to drop because like you might hear him and you might be like, okay, he's all right. But then you hear him live and it's like the opposite. You might hear him live and you're like, oh my God, this guy's
changes
insane.
your life.
I mean, for him, and that's kind of what I want to do with my music too, is like he'll perform a song so much different than the studio recording. Like he'll make it a performance. And like when artists do that, you know, I feel like somebody even like Tyler would do that. Yeah. Like it's a performance. Like
I feel you,
and that's what'll set you apart. And that's, you know, that's a crazy talent to have, to be able to make something different of your own song because it's live. You know, and even in the EDM scene you see it all the time. I mean, somebody like Porter Robinson on a live set, I mean, he's insane. I mean, he's doing everything live. Or, you know, you see M83, he's got like 10 different synths out and he's doing it all live. Like that's a performance. And you might hear him like, you know, mix one song into another. You know, I know rappers do that too. You know, you might hear him, you know, do a little transition from one hit to the next.
I feel you.
That's a performance. You'll never, like, when you go to those shows, you're never gonna hear that song in that way ever again.
I feel you.
That's so important. Especially, you know, for creatives out there, when you perform live, like if you make it different, it's gonna leave a lasting impact on somebody for sure.
Definitely. I agree with that. And just like for a local example, like you were talking, and I remember like there's this guy Reese. Shout out Reese. But I know like just the way he works a crowd versus the way I work a crowd is completely different. We get we get completely different like reactions. Not saying his is better or worse than mine, but like just the way he does his thing and like the way I do my thing is completely different. And it really comes down to like, how do you work a crowd? Like you're up there, like, bro, you really are a performer. You're performing. You're not just like up there reciting lyrics, bro. You're really like trying to give them a whole vibe, a whole like feeling while you're up there. And that's the most important part.
You want them, you know, to feel what you felt when you made the song.
Definitely.
I mean, for me, that's what I think. And the other thing too is like, you know, you kind of, you know, to work a crowd is, you know, that's one of the most important things. Because, you know, I've seen some rappers come up you know, local rappers too, like at the Green Elephant, and they're like, you know, real quiet and they're not moving around.
Bro, yeah, they'll
like,
be like, yo, what up, y'all? So my name
like,
is whatever, and this is my new song.
Bro,
Yo, drop that shit.
See, and that's what I'm saying. And they'll just go, oh yeah, just play it.
Just play
bro.
it.
If you come up and you're like, yo, what's good? And you're like, yo, we about to turn up. Yo, I need to see some hands. I need to see some movement.
I need cameras with the lights in the air right now. We about to get turned. Y'all know what's up. All that. Hey, DJ, blah, 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 blah. You start talking, and then somehow your conversation flows into the song. Like, that's
what
lit,
I'm saying.
bro.
I mean, like those people, like those people that do that.
Yeah.
Like, you're so much more inclined. Like, I even see it with DJs too. Like, when I DJ quite a bit out in Houston, like for frats, and like I did like a couple events. You know, shout out Houston, y'all have great energy too. Like, just the whole like Texas, I guess. I can't speak for every city, but like Houston and Dallas, like in Austin too. Like I've DJ'd out there too, but like the energy is like, if you're turned, they're gonna be turned, because everybody's just trying to get turned. Like, we're just trying to, like, everybody's trying to rage. Like, I don't go to a concert to like sit and just like, you know, watch. No, I'm trying to like come
get
through
involved.
And, like, yo, I want people like I'll say it, like, I want people killing each other, like, you know, like I want y'all to get like insane, because the more insane that y'all get, the more energy obviously that's going to be produced in the whole venue. Definitely, and it's gonna make, and it makes the artist feel good too, you know, because the artists, like, they're like, okay, I'm doing something right, so they'll continue to be that big spontaneous ball of energy.
And plus, bro, you never know if there's gonna be an A&R person. You never know if there's gonna be a label individual there. And just because you and 10 other of your friends got hyped and they started the mosh pit, that person saw that, and now they're reaching out to that artist because, bro, we saw this, and like, we just saw the way you worked the crowd, and because of your 10 friends, because they believed and had that energy, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
That man got signed to.
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
whatever, Warner,
the first
or whatever.
time I ever performed out, like, for real, like, as a DJ, it was at the Green Elephant, and I was still in high school, and I had a friend who knew some guy who was like also my age that was producing and was putting on like a show with a bunch of other DJs. Well, I told pretty much everybody in my high school about it. So when I got the shortest end of the stick. The show lasted until 12, and I played at 8. So I opened. Bruh. So I was like, so he gave me like, this guy gave me the short end of the stick, you know, whatever. But you know what I did is I told my boys to come out. I told all the people that I knew in my school, hey, if y'all come through, y'all have heard me play. You know we're going to get absolutely fucking crazy. You know, like, so I did just that. I was the opener, and like all my friends were just in front, like telling people to come through, and we went off. Like, you know, the mosh pit was definitely a success. Definitely. And then the next person that came on, did you think there was anybody up there?
Probably not.
No.
Solo dolo.
So
switched up the energy.
So who was memorable?
Exactly. Remember
and
that.
Even the guy who put it on, I think his manager was like talking to my dad. He was there too, because I was like 16 or 17.
For sure.
So he was like, how long has your son been doing this? And he was like, well, he's been doing it for like 3 or 4, maybe 5 years. And he's like, he's like, you know, he was like, well, he's like pretty good, you know, my guy's been doing it for like 2 years. And to be quite honest with you, bro, I didn't even stay until the end of it, until he played, because he was the close, right?
Got you.
Because it was his show, and so like he did the big thing, you know. But I, like, by the time I left, there was probably maybe 10 more people in the venue other than me and like my 5 friends. So like,
for sure.
So like, it's like, bro, like, if you don't, you know, you gotta bring that. You know, you got to bring that
definitely
energy. And the other thing that it'll do for you is like, people will want to come back. You know, the first time I saw Black Bear, like I said, I was super surprised. How many times do you think I've seen him since then?
A lot.
3 or 4 times. Yeah.
You're a recurring happy customer.
You know, I always go to his shows because I know he's going to do something different with it, you know? So it's just like, I think that's a really important thing. And I think that the state of hip hop right now, you know, the state of rap right now is just, it's real quiet right now because nobody's able to make those memorable moments for people.
Definitely.
I mean, you know, they've got the live stream going. I think Bryson Tiller's doing something on the 18th or whatever.
Definitely.
You know, and those are great. Like, yes, please do those. I mean, I even see the EDM scene. They're doing those stuff too. Like, that's good too, you know, because, you know, you you might just buy a ticket and you might put it on and invite like 10 or 15 of your friends, and y'all watch it. It might be bad for business. Sorry, I'm not trying to like screw over any artists here, but
this ain't no business advice.
But like you put it on and it's like your party music. Instead of having a playlist on shuffle, well, why don't you have a live performance come to your TV? That's a good idea too. But it's still not the same as like being in person. There's nothing that can top that.
Definitely. I feel you, bro. So that kind of gets back to a good point. Bringing back the feeling, bro. We're about to end it. It's been great, but I really want that feeling. Like when we talk about feelings, I really want that feeling again back in Dallas. I like just going back to the shows, going back to the festivals, going back to all those special events where music brought people together is really an exciting time, and I'm really looking forward to it. Please, if you are in the Dallas area, the DF Dub, the Triple D, please hit up my main man, CoitCampbell, aka Nick Nasty.
Free beats all around, for real.
If you tag him on some peeps, bro, and he's always willing to work. So please just hit him up, and if you hit him up, you automatically got a free feature from me. So we're just trying to do it for the love, like off the strength, bro. Like we just love this art, love this music shit. Sure. So yeah, man. So before we head out of here, where can the people find you on socials and like DSPs? Like, where's your music at? And then where do you stay social?
Obviously, we got Justice with 3 Eyes on every streaming platform. You can find me on most of his albums. And then on Instagram, I believe I am Coit.Campbell, and I think on Twitter, I am Coit_Campbell. I don't think I have a Facebook, but
it's okay. It's 2021, I guess. Or is Facebook popping still? I don't know.
Yeah, see, I don't even know. I don't know.
I stay off Facebook. The only reason I have it is because it tells me people's birthdays. Anyway, on that, is there any last messages, thoughts, food for thought that you want to leave the audience, your audience, my audience, random people that might come across this video, the feds, anybody? Do you have a message for like the universe that you would like to say, like last thoughts, last words?
Yo, just whatever you're gonna do, be the best you can be, and love what you do. That's
amen. Things. That's super important. Loving things. What you do.
Love what you do and be the best you can be at it. And always push for greatness. That's what it is.
Definitely, bro. Well, hey, y'all already know CoitCampbell came through. Sat down with me, had a great conversation. I appreciate you, bro.
Hey, thank you so much for letting me come on the show again.
Yes, sir, bro. And Frenchie, you gotta connect with me, bro. Get at me.
Shout out Frenchie again, Frenchie. Bro. Pull up.
Definitely. So make sure y'all hit him up. Make sure y'all go into his comments, spam that. Hey, bro, saw you on YouTube, saw you on Foam. Really fuck with you. All that stuff. Boost him up a little bit. Maybe even get yourself a freebie. All right. So, thank you, CoitCampbell. Thank you, Nick, for coming through. And we out of here, bro.